Vincenzo had given up. He felt like he had been robbed of the gift he had been given. His heart ached as he approached the entrance to the merchant's store.
Hi, Vincenzo. What a surprise. What brings you here today?
I'd like to sell my violin.
Those were the most painful words that he had ever spoken.
Are you certain about that? Well, let's have a look, shall we? Oh my. Isn't this the same violin I sold you many years ago? And you want to bring it back to me? Yes, I do. Well, I'm certain you've kept it in fine condition. But I really have to know that it works. So, would you do me a small favor, Vincenzo? I wonder if you would play a little bit for me, Vincenzo.
I don't have my music with me.
Sometimes we don't need sheet music. Sometimes music is in the soul. So, this one's for me.
Reluctantly, Vincenzo took the violin and, placing it properly in position under his chin, he began to play. He began playing slowly at first, until his heart began to play the notes. As he did, something magical began to happen. He began to feel the power of the music once again. When he had finished, a change had taken place, and there was hope.
I can't sell you my violin.
I thought as not. You keep the violin, Vincenzo, and play, all right?
Vincenzo left the shop with a resolution that he would never again give up on his dream. Everybody experiences failure, and if you haven't, it's just because you haven't done anything new. Because everything new requires failure. It's just a fact. In education, there's a term designated for new learners. It's called the J curve, a J. When we start, we may begin here. As we begin to implement the new experience or information in our life, we initially struggle, or perhaps even fail. But as we learn the lessons from our failure and are persistent, we become competent and very successful with our new lessons or experience. And as we get competent, things go up dramatically. That's a J curve. Most things in life come to us that way. So as we encounter feelings of frustration, we need to understand that it's normal, and we will get through it if we persevere.
There was a software executive who made a huge error, costing the company millions of dollars. And this is a true story. Millions of dollars at this one mistake or one failure he had made. So he went in, he was called in to see the chairman and the CEO. And of course he brought his resignation letter. And he handed it to the chairman. And the chairman said, what are you doing? We just spent millions of dollars educating you. You can't leave us now. Now, not every employer is going to be that compassionate, but the universe is.
Every one of us gets rejected, and what you and I need to do as individuals is reject rejection. Make yourself rejection-proof. When Jack and I started Chicken Soup, we spent 3 years writing it, and then we tried to sell it. We went to New York with a great agent, and 33 publishers all said, hit the road, Jack. And then we went to the BEA, Book Expo of America, and we went booth to booth to booth to booth, and 144 people, sum totally, said, buzz off, you guys, that's sappy little stories. They're never going to sell. They're too nice. The secret word that every winner knows is called NEXT, next.
You're going to meet obstacles. You're going to see adversity. It's going to happen to you. I guarantee it. So what gets you through it? It's your passion, it's your energy, it's your commitment to this game plan. And wow, it can be very, very exciting.
I have never met a successful person who hasn't failed. Never. Not in the course of my lifetime, not in the course of my reading, not in the course of my studying, not in the course of mankind. Have I ever met a successful person who hasn't failed? Now, the difference between successful people and people who are unsuccessful, because we all will fail, is successful people learn how to deal with failures. They learn how to accept it and embrace it and understand it and learn from it. And it doesn't become a negative to them. It becomes a learning. It becomes an education. It's a tuition they paid for the education they got.
You get a challenge or something you think is a setback. It's only a setback in your initial perception, and only when you don't stop and look at how it could serve you. See, the master is the one that takes whatever happens in their life, supportive or challenging, and asks how does it serve them and their mission. Because it's never what happens on the outside, it's always how you perceive what's up on the outside. So if you can take a challenge and you say, okay, so how are you going to use this to my greatest advantage, and what are the benefits that I'm going to get from this, and how is it going to help me fulfill my highest values, and how is it going to actually give me a step forward? If you ask that question and answer that question, it's not an obstacle. An obstacle is only when you've chosen to see only the drawbacks without the opportunities.
Some people are so worried about failing, they don't start. And so one of my friends says, you don't have to get it perfect, just get it started. And then in the process of doing it, you will learn.
What is failure? That's easy. It's not trying. It's not getting in the game. It is thinking about it and not doing. You know, you cannot fail if you try, if you get into the game.
You know, I like to use the analogy of a missile. When I shoot a missile off of my airplane, all missiles initially, they just come off straight. And any engineer will tell you that a missile actually requires mistakes. It actually requires errors in order to become successful at hitting its target. And so as a missile comes off the airplane, if you got a plane that's going in this direction, the missile comes off and it sees that the airplane that you're trying to shoot at is going this way. It sees that it needs to correct that way, and it makes a correction. Then it makes a smaller correction. Then it makes a smaller correction, and next thing you know, it hits the target. The same is true with us. You know, we've all got dreams. We all have a target, and we all have goals. A failure-minded person goes down the road towards their goals. They hit that first obstacle, and they go, I'm a failure. I always fail. And they turn around and they give up their dreams. A success-minded person hits that first obstacle, and they go, you know what, I'm going to be successful, and they make a correction just like that missile. They hit the next obstacle and they make a little bit other correction, just like that missile. And next thing you know, they find that they've zigzagged their way to their target, to success.
When I was learning to walk, my parents didn't say, oh, Jack failed after 7 tries, let's give up. They said, just, keep coming, boy. However long it takes, you're going to make it. And for me, I've read so many stories about, Thomas Edison, who had 10,000 experiments to invent the light bulb. And when someone said, you failed 10,000 times, he says, no, I never failed once. He said, I invented the light bulb. It just happened to be a 10,000-step process.
You're going to have some setbacks in life, some challenges, some difficulties. And those are the days which really test what happens. Maya Angelou says it like this. If there's something in your life you don't like, change it. But if you cannot change it, change your attitude. That is why it's critical for you to work on your attitude and start to have a reservoir from which to draw from before you need it, because you're going to have some days which test you, which try you, which really push you to the edge. And those are the days that you need to make sure that you have a positive outlook, a positive inlook, and a positive uplook, that you are thankful and grateful for all things, even the challenging things, because it is through the challenges that we grow, that we stretch, that we start to become all that we can possibly become.
In our society, so often we focus on problems and obstacles and challenges and failures, and those kind of things paralyze us. They cause us to stop because we can't really see beyond that. But the truth of the matter is, if we look carefully, we'd see very clearly there is no such thing as a problem. Everything is a puzzle. And there are answers to puzzles. So when you run up against something that you're not sure of, doesn't mean it's a problem. Doesn't mean you can't get around it. You just need to find the right answer for that puzzle.
I've decided that every single thing that happens is a success. Everything. There's a learning experience, maybe I achieved whatever the goal was, but I'm going to go after something else. I just learn, grow, and go.
Once you reach a goal, whatever that is, or achieve a vision, and it may have evolved and it may be very different than when you first set out, you are basking only momentarily in that sense of accomplishment. You can enjoy it. Doesn't have to be a letdown, but what you'll find is that you've naturally expanded who you are, who you can be, and you'll have another vision that's even bigger.
If you want to have like success become an ongoing habit, you know, here I am at the top of my game, 100 million books sold and so forth. For me, it was never about selling books. It was always about making a difference. You can't stop making a difference. You know, making a difference is something that continues forever.
It's the little things that you do on a daily basis that get that momentum ball turning, and all of a sudden, after a while, you have so much momentum behind you, you couldn't stop it if you tried.
You can have addictions that are actually good for you, that are actually taking you forward in life, that are actually keeping you healthy and happy, and success is one of those. When you start tasting success, you want more of it.
Aristotle said, excellence is not an act, it's a habit. So you get in the habit of excellence, and then you can go as high and dimensional and multi-passionately purposeful as you want, which is, you don't want to just do one thing, you want to do a multiplicity of things, because when the game called life is over, you look back on life, the only thing you can take with you is your memories. So you want to create a basket full of life memories that are worthy of you, that are valuable, that are vital, that are just exquisitely good.
The only difference between people who are happy and those who aren't is their habits. So it's really a very simple thing. It boils down to only one thing. What habits are you choosing day in and day out? And the good news is that every day you get a new choice to pick new habits all day long. Every decision you make in every moment is determining the habits that you'll have today and tomorrow and the next day, and the outcomes that you'll have in your life. So if you want a life that's successful, choose the habits of successful people. If you want a life that's happy, choose the habits of happy people.
Well, thank you all for coming tonight. It's a pleasure to know you're out there. We're going to be playing a piece.
Slowly, Vincenzo was offered opportunities to perform his music at local venues. Although these locations were not ultimately where Vincenzo wanted to be, he poured his heart into each of these performances. Each of them was a step in the right direction, and he let his passion shine through from the beginning. As can be expected, this wasn't always easy. There were times he was afraid, but as he faced each challenge and each frightening moment, he seemed to build momentum and increase in his greatness. Vincenzo gained a reputation as a passionate musician, and his gift grew. Doors opened for him to begin to play with other masters. Soon Vincenzo was playing in the most grand concert halls of all. His dream to play was fulfilled. His opus had arrived. But was the journey complete? There was the question the old master had asked him that he still yearned to understand. Your opus isn't just what you do, it will be the legacy of what you have become. Vincenzo thought in his mind often about what this could mean. Was this the legacy of the man he had become? The man who played in the largest concert halls? The man who commanded the respect of the other musicians? The man who composed and wrote the grand symphonies? the man who people adored and loved as the master violinist. Vincenzo still didn't understand.
I think we have in our own DNA, sort of this need, if you will, of assisting others and helping them move forward towards their own goals or vision. And some of the greatest rewards in my life have been watching the success of others that I have been associated with.
Henry James said that nothing of the senses will ever satisfy the soul. The only thing that satisfies the soul is gratitude and love. And when you have gratitude and love, whatever you're grateful for, whatever you love, you get more to be grateful for and you get to have more love. And so the second you achieve something, you're automatically yearning inside and called inside to ever greater achievements.
We're all here for what purpose? We're here to give. We're here to interact. We're here to create. We're here to love and to support. And those are all giving. Those are all giving things. Most of the successful people that I know have a basic fundamental philosophical foundation that says giving back is the key to success.
A friend of mine asked me recently, he said, what's the purpose of the universe? Now, no one had ever asked me that. Life purpose, corporate purpose, all that. What's the purpose of the universe? And I went back to my physics and I thought, well, what is the universe doing? It's expanding. Ever since the Big Bang, it's expanding. I said, well, is it to expand? And he said, absolutely. And he said, anything you do that helps people, corporations, countries expand, you're in alignment with the universe. And when you're in alignment with the universe, the universe will support you. It'll give you the resources you need. Anytime you cause contraction, you cause conflict, then you're against what the universe is about.
When we feel expanded, it's the universe's message of saying we're on course. When we feel contracted, it's the universe's message saying that we're off course. So as we're moving along, we always move towards that which is making us feel expanded.
Service, there is no higher purpose. It's all about giving back. When you focus on giving, you receive, and that's how the law of attraction works.
Ultimately, what we contribute is a reflection of who we are inside. And the more we contribute back to the world around us, makes us more inside. Think of your happiest moments. Got it? I'm confident that it will have very little to do with accumulating wealth, and it certainly wasn't a moment where you were alone in your room watching TV. I'd be willing to bet that it was a moment where you did something for someone that they could not do for themselves, or when you helped someone realize a dream, or you shared a little of you, the real you. And in the end, isn't that what life is all about? It's never about what you had. It's about what you did and the difference you made while you were here.
Oh my. Isn't this the same violin I sold you many years ago? And you want to bring it back to me? Yes, I do. Well, I'm certain you've kept it in fine condition. But I really have to know that it works. So, would you do me a small favor, Vincenzo? I wonder if you would play a little bit for me, Vincenzo.
When he had finished, a change had taken place.
I don't have my music with me. Sometimes we don't need sheet music. Sometimes music is in the soul. So, this one's for me.
Reluctantly, Vincenzo took the violin and, placing it properly in position under his chin, He began to play. He began playing slowly at first, until his heart began to play the notes. As he did, something magical began to happen. He began to feel the power of the music once again. Vincenzo had given up. He felt like he had been robbed of the gift he had been given. His heart ached as he approached the entrance to the merchant's store.
Hi, Vincenzo. What a surprise. What brings you here?
I'd like to sell my violin.
Those were the most painful words that he had ever spoken.
Are you certain about that? Well, let's have a look, shall we?